Well, hello, 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 stamping friends. How is everyone today? Today it is Monday, May 26th, 2025. So if you are watching, it is a little bit early for me. I am coming live to you. It is Memorial Day. Took the opportunity to pre-record this video just on the off chance that I would be out and about with family and friends celebrating. And celebrating is not the correct word for the true meaning of Memorial Day. Let me take this opportunity to wish all of my military friends, veterans alike, those of us that have lost friends and people in the various skirmishes, battles, wars over the years. I would like to thank you as a family member for the service of your departed soldier. And happy Memorial Day to you as well. All right. On that note, today it is Monday. Like I said, it is Monday makings, sketchy Monday makings, and that is where we go ahead and we prepare a sketch for us, which is in our Facebook group, that sketch. And I go ahead and I create cards based upon that sketch. Now tonight is a little bit different. I had the time, so I went ahead and I did a couple versions of the card for you so that you can see how you can take the base sketch as just that inspiration, and then how you can create a card just using it, and then how to step it up or make it different. So today's card sketch comes courtesy of Julie Tillman, our Mojo Mondays, and this is Mojo sketch number 528. I do try to find sketches that have measurements. That way you don't have to try to figure out what the measurements are. I don't have to figure out what the measurements are. And I think it's just a little bit more fun that way when we're not trying to do that extra work trying to figure it out ourselves. So this is a sketch that we're working with. And let me show you what I do, my process, right? So I found a sketch, it's a 3D, a flat image, two-dimensional image. And so what I tend to do is I will generally create a sample, right? And this sample or template is me translating this into something that I can physically see and hold in my hands to make sure that I really like the sketch, because I may like this, but when I put it together, I'm not quite so sure. So what I will do is this little scratch piece of paper eventually will go in the trash, and this will go in my little binder, my template binder, so that if I want to pull this out again, I will know exactly what I did or how I did it, how it actually looks live and in person. Okay, so this was the sample or the template that I created. I'm going to put this one aside. And I went ahead also and I already made a version of it, the very base version, no pomp, no circumstances. So this is what I would call the now version, right? I didn't put a sentiment on it because I wasn't sure where I was going to go with sentiment. But here is this card, created almost verbatim. Well, not almost verbatim. I didn't put any dimensionals. I didn't put anything on there, just exactly as the design was. Okay, and so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to do a little bit of a stepped up version of this. So we have a now version, we're going to create a wow version, and then I'm going to show you a different take on it, right? So let's go ahead and um, let me tell you what I'm using this evening to create this card, okay? So our measurements, as you can see, are we need a piece of cardstock, a card base, whatever color you choose as your base. This sketch doesn't tell you what your base is, right? If you look at the sketch, the dotted line represents your card base. So the first measurement they give you is your 4 by 5 1/4 measurement, right? So you have a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. In this particular instance, I use basic white. We have a piece of ribbon that we tied a bow. And then we have a piece that is a piece of paper that is 2¼ by 4, and then ½ inch by 4. Now 2¼ and ½ inch, that's 2¾ by 4. So I tell you that math because if you wanted to cut a piece of piece of designer series paper to 2¾ by 4, and then cut that ½ inch strip off and flip it, that will just, and if that's easier for you, then that's how you can do that. Option for you is to cut two pieces, two different prints and patterns that are that is 2¾ by 4, and then that way you have a little bit more opportunity to mix and match with your print. That's just a hint. Okay, and then we need a piece that is 1¾ by ½ inch, and then a little embellishment. I went ahead and I used a heart for all of them, but let's go ahead and see what we've done. So I went ahead and I did a lot of the prep work for us. That way we don't have to cut, emboss, etc., etc. So on this version, what I am going to do, uh-oh, where's my little heart there? Let's see if it fell out. There it is. So here's our card base, and I'm using a piece that's of fresh freesia. Let me keep this in frame so you can see this. Fresh freesia. I'm using a piece of the designer series paper, and I believe this one was called Lovely Garden. And I went ahead, and in this version I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to flip it. I'm just going to keep it the one layer. So this is 2¾ by 4, and my mat lay is a little too big. I might have to trim this down just a tad. So I went ahead and gonna lay it in a fresh freesia mat that is 3 inches by 4⅛. I have a piece of basic white. This is my 4 by 5¼ layer, and I've already embossed this with the oh my god, Lovely Swirls, I think it's called, embossing folder. This is from the 2024 catalog. And then here's my piece that's 1¾ by ½ inch. And we're just gonna go ahead and put this together. Now, how am I gonna step this up, right? So we have this piece of cardstock right here. And let's make sure I measure this again. 3 7/8. So the first thing I did to step this up from now to wow is I embossed this layer, right? So the other thing I'm about to do now to emboss this a little bit more, to add a little bit more zhuzh to it, for lack of a better, is I'm going to grab I see in here, this is probably maybe petal pink, maybe pretty in pink. So I'm going to grab my pretty in pink um, ink. I'm going to grab a blending brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color over top of it, okay? Just a little bit. Let me grab a blending brush. You would think I have blending brushes everywhere because I do a lot of blending, ink blending, and I can never seem to find them when I need them. All right, so here's one. Let me take some of this color off. Right? And then just lightly, because I don't want the color to go into the recessed areas. I just want a hint of color right over top on the swirls. Other things you can do to add a little bit of texture here or a little bit of difference here. You could spray it if you have like a stain, a mica stain, or something like that. You could do that. So again, I just wanted to add a little bit of fun, a little bit of texture. So I popped this up. I went from now to wow in two different ways. One by embossing this card, the piece, and then also adding a little touch of color. And it's a coordinating color that I see in here. Okay. So now next thing I'm going to do is I am going to, with liquid glue, well, the first thing I want to do is I want to just go ahead and pop my ribbon on. And let me show you how another way that I'm going to make this ribbon. You got several ways that you can do a ribbon, right? Uh, so of course we can do it this way, but I'm going to show you this a way. Depending on how big you want your loop, I'm going to just grab one of my bottles, and I'm going to grab and I'm going to make a little bow right here. You guys, if bows are is one of those things that just totally defeat you like they do me, there's so many cheat ways that you can use, that you can find to create bows, and I try to find them all. I do try to find them all. All right, so what we're gonna do with this one is we're gonna tie this on like that, right? And we're gonna just we're gonna remove it from the bottle. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I kind of have an idea as to where I want my bow to be, right? So you can frame your bow. If you want your bow on this side, then that's how you kind of position it. I'm going to put the bow kind of like in the middle. All right. And maybe even a little offside. And then I'm going to grab some double-sided tape. Did everybody have a um, good holiday weekend? I know most of us tend to just do celebrations, barbecues, go to the lakes, and those types of things. Um, so I'm hoping everybody had a wonderful time with that. I am still in the midst of trying to put my closet back together. Yes, I had a whole closet makeover. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and pop that down. And before I release that, I'm going to grab an embossing folder, a bone folder, excuse me, and I'm just going to burnish that in. Oops, I'm dropping everything. Pardon my head. There we go. I'm going to burnish that adhesive in. And we're going to remove it. We're going to remove that side first. Either side works depending on where you're going to align your bow. And I said I wanted this about maybe about so. Put that down. Oops. And because it has the adhesive on it already, this is not going to go anywhere. Okay. We will need to, however, at the end of the day, grab some a glue dot or something and glue the bow part down in the middle. All right, so there we go with this. We're going to take this part off. And then we're just going to go ahead, proceed. And you're saying, Caron, this does not look like a bow. What are you talking about? Well, I'm going to show you in just a second, right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to cut this right in the center. And then we're going to cut it at an angle. And there you go. We've got our little bow right here, ready to go. Already done and in place. I'm going to trim this, but I'm going to wait until I attach my pieces so I see how much I need to trim off. All right, so a couple of options for you here. We can go ahead and just put this piece right here in the middle. So it's up to you where you want to add your glued your dimensions, right? In a couple of the other ones, I'll show you where I added the dimension and why I'm choosing in this particular instance not to add it here. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. X marks the spot, right? If nothing else with adhesive or liquid glue, if you're going to use it, is to make sure you get a little dab definitely on the corners, and then also on the sides, so because you don't want anything lifting, right? So I'm going to try to make sure that I've got maybe about a ½ inch on each side, and a little bit, maybe about a ½ inch or so on the bottom. And again, I use liquid glue. I did emboss, right? So there we've got this. Turn it over and I'm going to burnish that. Perfect. Then I'm going to grab, if I can find my glue dots anywhere. Okay, so then the next thing I want to, oh, I forgot to put this on. That's okay. Do we have time to? No, it's already burnished in. Sorry, I meant to add the, so you know the other thing is you just adhere it back to this. I missed that step. Not necessary, but it's just another layer that you can take it up a notch. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do with this, to pop this just a tad, is I'm going to grab, She's the Greatest. This is a stamp set, new stamp set for us. And I'm going to grab my Fresh Freesia ink pad because this is Fresh Freesia that we're working with. And then I'm going to grab the little floral sprig. Um, this one. And I'm just going to add a little bit of texture on around the card base. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping in. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. Don't forget to, I hope you enjoy the projects and crafts that I bring for you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe like my videos and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that in the grand scheme of things. More people can find me. Um, and that's what's important to me, making sure that I provide content and reach a new audience regularly. For those of you that routinely follow me, welcome back. Thanks for joining in again for another Sketchy Monday makings. And if you are watching on the replay, which you might be because it is the holiday, and I get that, thank you for spending the time with me. I do know you have your choice of demonstrator or crafter that you can watch. The fact that you are joining me, I am very appreciative of that. All right, so let's go ahead and finish this card. We're gonna pop this bad boy up. Look at all the techniques that we used in this card today, y'all. We did a little bit of embossing. We did tone on tone stamping. What else did we do? Um, and it's just so show you that you can take one sketch and do so many different things with it. You can stick to the letter of the law in the sketch. You can change it up a little bit. You can make it your own. The sketch is generally to be used just as a guide, but if you want to use that sketch 100%, nothing wrong with that one either. It is your card, and you make of it whatever you make of it. I'm excited about the last card that I did with this technique. I hope you're excited about it too. All right, not quite done with my bow yet, but again, I don't want to cut that down until I see where everything finally falls into place. So when you see the sketches that I use, you guys, if you like them, go ahead and just make a template for yourself. Create your own template binder. So that way you can always have something that you can, when you're excuse me, when you've lost your mojo and you're needing something to go back to, you will always have, excuse me, that sketch that you can fall back on. All right, so we've got that. Now, let's go ahead. These two things we need to add. There's no paper like this in Stampin' Up, right? So what I did was I went ahead, I had some distressed mica spray, and I just spritzed several different colors together, and I came up when I had a hard punch, and so I punched it out. No rhyme, no reason, it just was what it was. Okay, oops, I just made that mess. And then I'm gonna put this right here, let that adhere. And before I do anything else, I'm gonna add shimmer to this entire panel. I created a shimmer paste, or I think that's what you call it, a shimmer paste. Um, and I did a video already where I showed you how to create your own. And this is just using the Sukaneko all-purpose ink. This one is champagne mist, and mixing it with some um, sorry, there's my little face there. Mixing it with glycerin, and you would have created your own shimmer mist that you can create your own shimmer paper. So I'm gonna do that as well. I just have a little cup of it here that I use. Take off some of the excess, and then I'm gonna shimmer everything. To include the designer series paper, you guys. Perfect. You can't see the shimmer on this, but this is shimmering quite a bit. So for those of you that are watching, just comment for me What is your, most people barbecue on Memorial Day. So one, um, do you barbecue on Memorial Days? Do you go to the beach? What is it that you do to celebrate Memorial Day? And then two, if you barbecue, what is your favorite thing to barbecue? Are you a ribs person? Do you do burgers on the grill? What do you do for barbecue? Oops, too much. Way too much. I forget sometimes because I do use the glass mat a lot. Um, and there's nothing wrong with it because the glass mats clean very easily. So that is pretty much why I do that. I used to have grid paper out like constantly, but now that I have a glass mat, I just tend to utilize that more than I use grid paper. I love grid paper too, don't get that wrong, but I do tend to grab my glass mats. All right, let that dry for another second or so. See the shimmer on there already? Yeah. So let that dry for a sec. This is 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape. I never realized that I would use this size so much, but I love this size. It's perfect for little strips like this. Right? Almost done with this card, and then I will share with you. And it's so much fun. I default my card making. Defer to florals because I love floral stamps, people stamps, um, but florals are my default, right? All right, so I'm just gonna put this right over here, like so. All right, and then let's go ahead and trim our bow because we're pretty sure now what's going on with that. I'm gonna grab a glue dot Put it right under the knot. And there we go. Okay. All right, now we've got to do a sentiment on here because we've got all the elements from the card, from the sketch. See? We've got all the elements from the sketch. Now all we've got to do is create a sentiment. And I'm going to use the stamp set, something from the stamp set A Day With You. Now this is one of our online exclusive items, so you'll find this in our online exclusives. And I think I'm going to work with, doesn't matter what we do as long as I'm with you, because that could be any occasion, right? Guys, our stamp sets, we can also just do a we can heat emboss it in stamp it in black, heat emboss in clear. We can stamp it with Versamark, then heat emboss with black ink, heat emboss with gold ink. The choice is endless in terms of what you can emboss or how you can emboss this card. I'm just going to go with my standard black. My anti-static powder. I'm going to double heat emboss the sentiment. And then we're almost done with the card, you guys. We're going to add, we're going to do that, and we're going to add some gems, and then we'll be done with this card. Warming up my heat tool. And I keep it at a side just so that I can see whether the powder has melted or not. And we've got our triple heat embossed sentiment panel. All right. I'm going to find me a circle punch. Not sure what size will fit. Let's see if it'll fit in 1.5 inches. I think it will. Oh, but fits perfectly. Perfect. And what I'm going to do now is, if you have a sponge or a dauber, I'm just going to run it over in the ink pad just like so. Add a little color to my edges. Just like that. What it does, if you look at it closely, you'll think that I have a little bit of a border or a matte layer on this when all I've done is added color to the edge. Perfect. And then I think I want this in this corner, like that. A little pop of dimension. Even though we have dimension on that layer, we're going to add a little pop of dimension. These ones have a little bit of a lower profile, so it's not going to add too much more dimension to the card. Whoops. All right. We're going to pop this right here. And I want it really in the corner. Doesn't matter what we do as long as I'm with you. Guys, last step to this is to add some bling. My bling is going to come in the form of some sequins. Gonna go with this one. No, this green. Oh, yeah, the pink is the better choice. So I'm gonna add one right here. I really don't need any, but let's put one right here. Let's add one right here. And then let's add one right here. All right. Of course, because we have, we would put a piece of 4 by 5, 5 1/4 on the inside of our card, because it is, I do that with, regardless of whether it's a light colored panel or not. I always put a white piece on the inside if I'm using any other color than a white card base. And so here we have our card. So we have this version. We have our now card. We have our stepped up card. And you guys, check this one out. Would you believe that this is the same layout? What do you think? This is also from the A Day with You. We have this little guy right here, father with his son, I guess, in the kitchen cooking up something. What I ended up doing was I did a transitioning or a partial stenciling. We used some designer series paper for our 4 by 5 1/4 sheet, and I added an extra piece of basic white for the sentiment. So there you have it. My nod to Mojo Monday Sketch 528 for this Tuesday. Sorry, for this Monday. Um, Mondays Sketchy Monday makings session. I hope you enjoy this card. Don't forget, next Sunday, June 1st, is our scrapbook workshop featuring the Celebrate Together kit. I hope you can join us for that workshop. Registration is required for that workshop. It is $20 fee, or it's free with a $40 purchase on our website. Again, I will put the link in today's video so that you will have that information, and you are free to register at any time. Now, you do not need to purchase the kit to participate in the workshop. It might be a little bit easier if you do, but you do not have to have the kit. You just need to make a $40 purchase, or a $40 purchase for free, or $20 to be part of the registration. As always, guys, if you have any questions at all regarding your stamping journey, definitely feel free to reach out to me. My information is scrolling at the top. If you would love to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, it is the 26th. We've got 5 more days for the May promotion, so for you to join my team. And what that means is, for the month of May, which ends May 31st, if you join during this month, you will be able to join Stampin' Up! And my team for $99. And with that $99 purchase, you will get $165 worth of products. You guys, that is amazing. You get to choose your own product. Stampin' Up! Doesn't tell you what to put in your cart, none of that stuff. You get to choose $165 worth of products for $99. You also will get a free paper pumpkin kit if you sign up in the month of May. Now, with if you'd like to learn more about becoming a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, reach out to me. Um, Reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to give you a lot more information. You guys, on that note, again, thank you for joining me. I am Caron Bailey, independent demonstrator and your ATX Stampin' Lady. I hope you enjoyed Mojo Monday, and I hope to see you next week. For now, Godspeed and happy stamping!